My dear students, respected parents and teachers. In this class, I would like to take 9th standard science motion lesson. The motion lesson is entirely based on our day-to-day experiences. The main objective of this lesson is to correlate those experiences logically with the scientific view. Please open page number 98. I am going to teach this lesson in 3 periods. In the first period, I want to teach these learning points. You please see those learning points. Okay, children. Now, you could see a rock and a person. They appears to be stationary. They are stable, they are not changing the position. What do you call such a situation? Such a situation is nothing but rest position. What is the definition of motion? The change of position with the time with respect to a reference point is called as the motion. Motion and rest are said to be relative to each other. What is the meaning of this statement? That means the bodies may be either in rest position or in motion. They cannot act in both situations. Is motion is confined to earth related objects? No, motion is not confined to only earth. If you consider the entire universe, all heavenly bodies are in motion. Galaxies, stars, planets as well as the satellites, they are all in motion. That means the motion is applicable to the entire universe including the earth. Now, the next question is, do you think all motions are visible? Based on the visibility of the motions, you please observe this scene. In this scene, the branches of the tree are shaking. Who is shaking? Definitely your answer is correct. Due to the wind blow or due to the movement of the wind, the branches are shaking. Can you see the movement of the wind? No, we cannot see the movement of the wind, but we can feel the movement of the wind by indirect evidences. I mean totally I conclude that this motion is not visible to me. Hence, such a type of motion is called as the invisible motion. For this invisible motion, you can give plenty of examples like movement of the atoms, molecules, electrons. We cannot notice them. They are all comes under invisible motion. As soon as you see this picture, I need not answer anything with this situation, because you have learnt that this is visible and this comes under visible motion, no doubt children. In our day-to-day life, we could come across many situations which represent the visible motion. The tsunami or a thunderstorm is mainly caused due to the uneven movement or uncontrolled movement of the wind. It causes irreparable damage to the biosphere, as you know already. So, such type of motions are called as the uncontrolled motions. Not only the movement of the wind, even sometimes the flooded river, even that also causes maximum damage, even that is also called as the uncontrolled motion. See, if the wind speed is controlled to some extent, we can generate electricity. Not only by using the wind, even by controlling the speed of the water also we can generate the electricity. Such type of motions are called as the controlled motions. See, what a nice view in this situation. In one hand, the blowing wind causes destruction in the form of the tsunami. But on the other hand, the wind blow is utilized mainly for construction activities also. Likewise, even in our life also, if we control our mind properly, we can come out with the flying colors by achieving the maximum goal in our life. That is why my suggestion is, please control your mind and concentrate on studies. The motion is nothing but the change of the position. It's very simple to understand. If you think like this, partially you are correct. The motion meaning is complex. The vastness of the motion cannot be understood just by few examples. Based on the nature of the motion, again the motion is classified into several categories. Let me analyze one by one. You could see that somebody is riding the horse is moving in a straight path, it is changing the position frequently. Overall, the movement of the horse is well balanced in every respect. What do you call this kind of motion? It is called as the translatory motion, or even we can call it as translation also. Sometimes several bodies, they may follow even curved path also, like a train moving in a curve or a moving snake. These are all called as the curved motions also. This is very interesting example, like the earth is spinning around its own axis. In order to spin or to rotate once around its own axis, how much time it is going to take? As you are aware of that, it is going to take 24 hours to complete one round around its own axis. This type of motion is called as the rotation motion. Apart from this example, we can give plenty of examples for rotation, like the merry-go-round is also a beautiful example for the rotation. Now, I would like to show one activity to explain in detail about the rotation. See, a boy started playing the top. This movement of the top is example for the rotation. Most of the students, they like this game, even I too. So, this all comes under rotation motion. I think when you conducted several experiments in the laboratory related to the simple pendulum, you might have seen this pendulum. The pendulum is moving towards left and right, that is to and fro motion of any object from its mean position is called as oscillation. The oscillation can be understood by different examples in our day-to-day life, like you might have seen swing, and even wings of the bird also comes under oscillation. Simply if I speak, suppose if you are walking, you are going to shake your hands like this, even this is also called as the oscillation. You might have seen the tuning fork when it is being hit to a rubber pad, the vibrations are caused, as we are aware of this situation in the laboratory experiments. So, such type of motion is called as the vibration. So, for this vibration, I am going to show one activity. This is a spring. I am going to attach some weight to the spring. Now, you see, up and down movement of the spring can be noticed. This up and down movement of the spring is nothing but vibration. This is an interesting fact. The movement of the bicycle includes both translation and rotation. If the bicycle wheel completes one round, that comes to the rotation. Meanwhile, while rotating, it travels it covers some distance also. That is nothing but translation. So, therefore, when you are riding a bicycle, that bicycle will exhibit both translation as well as the rotation. Till now, you understood many types of motions. From here onwards, in your daily life, if you come across such situations, you please classify the motions and enjoy it. Even you can teach all these to your friends also. Next, let us move on to another important concept called as the reference point. If you want to locate the position of any object, or if you want to know the motion of any object, we are going to keep a reference point, even it may be called as origin also. To understand this point of reference, let me take a good example. You please observe here, children, there are three cities, Bangalore, Tumkur and Madhugiri. Here, for the sake of my convenience, I am going to consider T as a reference point. Once again, I am going to clarify, you can take any point as your point of reference, but here taking T as the point of reference is suitable at this junction, hence I selected T as the reference point. From T, in one direction, B is there approximately at the distance of 80 kilometers, and in another direction, M is situated approximately as usually 40 kilometer distance. So, this you consider as a track or path, or even you may consider it as a road also. Now, let me travel from B to M. Yes, I travelled and I reached finally. Let us check the distance I travelled. Yes, I travelled 120 kilometers. Here B is called as the starting point and M is called as the ending point. I covered the distance of 120 kilometers. Is it possible for me to reduce the distance? Yes, if you think it is possible. How to reduce it, children? Please try this. You draw a straight line from B to M. This is straight line or a straight path or imaginary path, whatever it may be, totally we have connected B to M in a particular direction. Let me travel from B to M. Yes, I travelled. When I checked the distance travelled, approximately 90 kilometers. How this difference in distance is possible? When I travelled via BTM, that is distance travelled, that is the actual path. When I travelled directly from B to M, in this case distance travelled is 90 kilometer, and in this case I travelled in a particular direction, hence the distance is being reduced. So, therefore, as per this example, BTM is the actual path that indicates distance travelled. BM is the shortest distance between the initial position and final position that indicates the displacement. I hope now you could be able to differentiate between distance travelled and displacement. Let us see those differences. Distance travelled is nothing but actual path covered and it has only magnitude, that means it has only distance, how much distance it is covered. So, that is why this is called as a scalar quantity, but displacement is the shortest distance between the initial point and the final point. It requires both magnitude and direction, hence displacement is called as a vector quantity. In order to understand the distance travelled and displacement, let us take one more example from the motion in a straight line, that means motion of the bodies in a straight line. Let us try to analyze once again distance travelled and displacement effectively. You have seen This is a straight line path. Starting point is O, the ending point is A. Totally 60-meter distance is there. I located several points B and C also. Now, let us try to calculate distance travelled and displacement from this. Now, an object travelled from O to A. Tell me the children, what is the distance travelled? Certainly, anybody can say that it is only 60 meter. You are true. What about displacement? Even displacement is also 60 meter. Why? For the displacement and the distance travelled, same values are there. Because in this straight line path, initial point and the final point are same for both the distance travelled and displacement. That is why the distance travelled is 60 meter and even displacement is also 60 meter. Let us go to another situation. A body travelled from O to A and immediately it travelled from even A to B also. Now, kindly tell me, what is the distance travelled? Yes, surely you started calculating. Please proceed further, my dear students. 60 plus 25, totally it is 85 meter. You are correct. Then what is the displacement? Suddenly, by seeing the numerical figures, you cannot give what is the value for the displacement unless you are very much clear with initial point and final point. Initial point is O, final point is B. Then what is the displacement? It is no doubt it is OB. OB is roughly 35 meter. Therefore, displacement is also 35 meter. Now, in the third case, a body travelled from O to A and again it travelled back from A to O. Please tell me how much distance is travelled? Of course, the entire path is only 60 meter, but do not say distance travelled is 60 meter because it travelled from O to A 60 meter. And once again it returned back from A to O another 60 meter. 60 plus 60 is equal to 120 meter is the distance travelled. Next, finally, now I am going to test your ability. If you are able to give the displacement answer properly here, definitely you may conclude that you understood displacement and distance travelled quite effectively. There is no need to ask anybody. Come on, tell me children, what is the displacement? Before saying the displacement, you please conclude which is final and which is initial position. Final position is O, initial position is O. What is the distance from O to O? Some students already started laughing. What is this question, sir? O to O, how much distance is? Nothing is there. Yes, you are right, nothing is there because O to O, no distance. Situation is very clear and you manage to understand how to calculate distance travelled and displacement effectively. Now, let us proceed further. A motorbike is moving on a straight line track. In the first second, it covered 3 meters, second 3 meters and even in the third second 3 meters. Anybody can analyze that this bike is covering equal distances in equal intervals of time. So, therefore, such kind of motion is called as the uniform motion. See the second situation. A car is there on the track, certainly it started moving and it has moved and it has covered certain distance. You please observe carefully, in the first second it travelled 3 meter and in the second it travelled 2 meter and in the third second it travelled 4 meter. Here the time is same, but the distance travelled is different. That means, the car is travelling unequal distances in equal intervals of time, such kind of motion is called as the non-uniform motion. Are you sure that till now all the facts are penetrating deeply into your mind? Definitely you are in a right track. See, there are two places. The distance between two places is 300 kilometers. A car and the bus already on the track and they are asking for the permission to move. Yes, please give the permission. Yes, they moved. You see how nicely they are moving. The car covered the distance in 5 hours, but bus it took 6 hours. By seeing these two examples, anybody can say that car is faster compared to the bus. I mean, in a certain time, certain distance is covered. The meaning is very simple. Now, we are going to deal with the rate of the motion. How much distance is covered in a certain interval of time, that gives the meaning of the rate of motion. The rate of motion can be explained by using a beautiful physical quantity called as the speed. The distance travelled in a given time is called as speed, or very simply you can write speed is equal to distance covered by time taken. Its SI unit is no doubt meter per second. Now, let us calculate the speed of the bus as well as the car separately. The speed of the car is equal to total distance is 300 and it took 5 hours. So, therefore, 60 kilometer per hour, and speed of the bus is 300 by 6, 50 kilometer per hour. We concluded that the speed of the car is better compared to the speed of the bus. Now, another problem arises. Somebody may ask me, sir, is the speed of the bus is same throughout the journey? I can't say yes or no. Let me analyze these situations properly. When the bus started, suppose if it is in city limit, the speed is going to be naturally less. In order to pick up and drop the passengers, naturally the bus should stop and the speed will reduce definitely to 0. If the traffic is very clear, now the speed of the bus may rise up to 80 km per hour. At any junction, at any situation, we cannot give the exact speed of a vehicle. Overall, we say this much distance travelled in this much time, totally this much time, totally this much distance is covered. So, most of the motions in our day-to-day life comes under the category of the non-uniform motion. It is better to express the speed by another physical quantity called as the average speed. The average speed is equal to total distance travelled by total time taken. In this way, we manage to differentiate between even speed and average speed. Okay, my dear children, till now you managed to understand several learning points which we have already noted earlier. So, after knowing each and every facts about the motion lesson, now it is the time for us to judge ourselves like how much we have learned. For that, let us ask some questions by ourselves. Choose the correct answers. See, in this case, several answers are given. From this answers pool, select a good answer and try to fill the gaps. The SI unit of speed is meter per second. What is the SI unit of distance travelled? Certainly, some people already started thinking, they thought and they gave the answer. That answer must be definitely meter. See the second question. The physical quantity having only magnitude is called as the scalar. What about the physical quantity having both magnitude and direction? There is only one choice to select, already you have selected, I know it very well. Definitely your selection is good, that is vector quantity. Come to the third question. Distance travelled by time taken is nothing but speed. Total distance travelled by total time taken is what? Some student is already asking me, sir, what is this, sir? What a easy question you are asking, sir. Okay, please answer that question. I know what you have told. The answer is certainly average speed. Okay, children, let us go to the next question. The rock is in rest position. A bird sitting on a rock. Normally, we have a tendency, if it is rest, next it must be in motion. Please do not come to such conclusion immediately. Rock is at rest. A bird sitting on a rock. Let us check your answer. Sorry, even a bird sitting on a rock is also rest. Please observe the situation properly, children. The bird is not flying here, the bird is sitting, hence it is in rest position. Moving clouds is a beautiful example for the motion. What about water vapor in a moving cloud? Like in this situation, what is your answer? Normally, you have a tendency to give answer as rest. Sorry, that is also motion, because if the moving cloud is in motion, naturally the water vapor which is part of that moving cloud is also in motion. In the first stage, you managed to answer quite effectively. I am very happy that you have circulated very nicely the answers. Okay, let me give one more chance for you. This is just for the sake of testing your intellectual ability. I am going to give 5 clues or 5 statements. By analyzing those 5 statements, finally you have to give me the answer. But anyhow, for every statement, same answer. The distance covered by bodies at rest. The bodies are at rest. Oh, what is the distance covered? Oh, it's fine. You got answer? Keep it with you. The distance covered can never be. The answer is on the lips. Please control it, reserve it. The speed of a person sitting in front of a TV. Now, you are all sitting in front of the TV to watch the program of the motion lesson. What is your speed? Definitely, you may say, sir, what is this question, sir? How can you move, sir? Okay, keep it with you, that answer. Yesterday, I had been to my friend's house from my home. Today, I returned back to my home. What is the displacement? Certainly, you could be able to answer even this statement also. Myself and circle are similar. This 5th statement clearly indicates what is that answer. 100% you know what is that answer. I do not want to test your curiosity. Who am I? That means, for all these 5 statements, one particular answer is there. Who am I? Who am I? See, it is rotating. It is not earth, but it is 0. Are you happy, children? Yes, definitely. Instead of direct questions, such clue and tricky questions, which enables you to grow, and it inculcates very good scientific temper in your mind. So, that is why always try to develop the reasoning ability in each and every situation of your life. Now, ultimately, I am very happy that you have learnt each and every concept properly. This class is really successful. So, anyhow, I should give one activity. I know you are staying at your village or in city. Please draw a rough outline map of your location. It may be city or village, as I told already. So, it indicates hospital, your school, railway station, bus station, etc. Represent all those locations by using the alphabets A, B, C, D, etc. And finally, by travelling in a bicycle or by walk, you please calculate the distance traveled, displacement, speed and average speed. Will you do this activity, children? Be careful while doing this activity. Please be aware of other vehicles which are moving on the road. So, finally, you are all expecting assignment from me. I would like to give the assignment for you. Yes, totally 4 questions are there on the screen. Please write these 4 questions and please answer these questions. In the next class, we will discuss answers for all these questions. I am expecting that you are all going to do these questions with beautiful answers. Till now, you were with me and you were enjoying the motion lesson. Even I too enjoyed. Till next class, bye bye, thank you.